Hail Satan, and welcome to my channel, Project 666. My name is Lilith Asmodeus, and today I'm going to be going over another reading of the Temple of Satan. Now, today I'm going to be giving out a few cues and hints on how to join, also explaining a few initiation processes in case there's somebody out there who wants to seek an audience with the Temple of Satan. But tread carefully, because once you seek an audience with the Temple of Satan, and if you're not sincere or genuine with what you want, it can ultimately cost you greatly. I would like to start off by saying that I myself am not a member of the Temple of Satan. I am also not a spokesperson of the Temple of Satan. Now, this is a group that is worldwide. It's an organization that is on pretty much every country and every continent on the face of the earth. So again, there's nowhere you can hide if you were to try to make a mockery of this group, or try to give them a bad name, or try, misrepresentation. If you were to do something and you were not a member of this group, but yet you claim to be, there could be severe consequences for your actions. Now, my last video was kind of an introduction. I went over the Antichrist Code, somewhat of satanic ideology. I spoke about the Lord Satan himself, initiation into the temple. But today, again, I'm going to be going over a few more initiation processes, and ultimately how to join the Temple of Satan. So I'm going to first start off by going over a few principles that they have, which is called the 5 boons. The 5 boons are the 5 primary benefits which Lord Satan shall bestow upon dedicated disciples of our temple, and they are as follows. Fertility. Lord Satan favors those with animal fertility and diabolical energy. The satanic adept must have the physical, mental, and spiritual energy necessary to win in the struggle for life and fully enjoy its fruits. Fertility means being physically strong, mentally alert, and spiritually awakened. The key to this boon is accumulating V Diabolus, the devil's force. The devil force, or unholy spirit, that permits the universe, which emanates from Lord Satan himself. The second boon is opulence. Lord Satan does not glorify poverty, modesty, or anything else in the manner of the slave religions. On the contrary, the devil encourages his disciples to acquire great wealth and fully indulge in the material playthings of this world. If you are not growing wealthier on your satanic path, you are doing something very wrong and must ask Lord Satan for guidance. The third boon is pleasure. Lord Satan is a god of indulgence, sensuality, sexuality, and earthly pleasures of all kinds. The devil does not preach abstinence or the evils of the flesh, like some slave religions do, but full indulgence in the adepthood at all methods of pleasure. Our Templars honor our Lord's will by holding frequent orgies and feasts at our temples, lodges, and gatherings. The fourth boon is knowledge. Lord Satan bestows knowledge upon his disciples and awakens a desire to study the darkest and most forbidden sciences. The diabolical way requires disciples to acquire advanced knowledge of many black arts, which they shall need to pass through the 9 gates of the kingdom of Satan and be worthy to enter the presence of our Lord and Master. And the last one, the fifth one, the fifth boon is empire. Lord Satan is a god of power and dominion. He rules over hell, and through his disciples and his chosen one, the Antichrist, he shall rule over the earth. The Temple of Satan is building a real dominating empire, because such power is necessary for Templars to realize our infernal wills and achieve our diabolical dreams. Templars must always seek unlimited power, or they are slaves unworthy of our Lord. Now, I'm going to go over the 9 maxims. The 9 maxims are guidelines for living in the diabolical way of our satanic brotherhood. So the first maxim is I pledge my allegiance to Satan, Lord of this world. The second one, I embrace the evil in me so that I may be the best that I can be. The third maxim, I seek power and glory, never peace. The fourth maxim, I hunt the predator death that hunts me. The fifth one, I seek out others who are diabolical and powerful to recruit into the temple. The sixth, I am cunning and secretive on my path of diabolical descent. The seventh maxim, I seek greater black magical mastery in order to empower myself and the temple. The eighth, I recognize no authority higher than Satan, the Antichrist, and the gatekeepers of the temple. The ninth one, the ninth and final maxim, I glorify Lord Satan by contributing to the temple. Now, they also have something that goes along with the 9 maxims. This is also serves as a guideline, and they are called the 9 canons. The 9 canons were given to the temple by our gatekeepers, who received their inspiration directly from Lord Satan himself. They are the laws our members are expected to obey to maintain temple order and discipline, as explained hereon. Law 1, expulsion. Law 2, chain of command. Law 3, 9 gates. Law 4, apprenticeship. Law 5, violations. Law 6, confidentiality. Law 7, exclusivity. Law 8, alteration. Law 9, preservation. Now, in my last video, I discussed some of these symbols. I kind of pointed them out, gave you an idea what they represented and what they were about. But today I'm going to go into full detail on symbols that are used by the Temple of Satan. Once again, in case you actually become a member, or if you're somebody who's seeking an audience with them, you will know what to look for in your area. If you were to see one of these symbols, you would know that you're close to the Templar Knights. So symbols, the gatekeepers believe strongly in the power of symbols to reorder the mind, inflame the will, and awaken passions in the infernal minds of our disciples. Growing up in the modern civilization, you have been bombarded by symbols from birth: corporate logos, government flags, sports emblems, religious icons, political posters, musicians, logos, etc. Such symbols are used to reinforce the cultural programming of the dominant orders of sorcerers, to invade and program your mind so that they will conform to their various agendas. As Satanic Templars, we must deprogram and reprogram our minds from such programming so that we may liberate ourselves from white light mental slavery and awaken our inner reserves of diabolical power. This is a two-step process. First, we mentally quarantine ourselves from the programming of the white lighters by simply removing their symbols from our sight, or by developing enough awareness to be able to mentally nullify their effects at will. Second, we create new symbols of power, which we have summoned from the infernal mind, and begin consciously reprogramming ourselves with them. This symbolic reprogramming process can take many forms. You may meditate on your power symbols, put them on clothing, flags, walls, books, web pages, videos, works of art, or anywhere else your attention may turn to. Remember that the real power of symbols is their ability to bypass the conscious mind, which contains filters that resist their influence and work directly upon the subconscious mind, which is the source of our greatest power as Satanists. Below, which I'm about to go through individually, are a few power symbols the gatekeepers use for this purpose. In the early stages of your initiation, You should adopt these to reinforce the message that you are part of the order of black musicians, and you are submitting to their superior knowledge and power. But as you progress on your path, you should begin to develop your own symbols and use them to establish your unique persona as an inspiring black musician and master of symbolic sorcery. So the first one is called the Devil's Trident. This is one that the gatekeepers came up with to represent their satanic path. It's called the Devil's Trident, and the Devil's Trident, the downward facing trident, is a symbol of the unholy trinity of Father Satan, Son of the Antichrist, and unholy spirit. It is the logo of the temple of Satan because these are temple's three metaphysical projects: summoning and serving Satan, breeding and enthroning the Antichrist, cultivating the power of V Diaboli with black magic. So that gives you like an idea of what the trident actually means and what it stands for. The next one is the inverted pentagram, and a lot of you are already familiar with the inverted pentagram, and that's this one here, encased in a circle. So you have a pentagram inside of a circle. Then this isn't the full history of this, but I want to read it so you can have somewhat of an idea of what the inverted pentagram stands for inside of a circle. The inverted pentagram shown below is a symbol of Satan popularized in the 19th century by the name of someone called Eliphas Levi, who called it the sign of infernal invocations. Anton LaVey made it the inverted pentagram notorious in the 1960s as the official symbol of his Church of Satan. While we reject LaVey's atheistic modern Satanism, we do respect his black magical features of making the inverted pentagram the most potent symbol of Satan in public consciousness, and we will exploit this potency in the temple's own symbolic sorcery. So, although they're saying they reject LaVey's teachings, they are giving him credit to the inverted pentagram, and I have much respect for that. In another video, I will go over the history of the inverted pentagram, or maybe I'll post something online that kind of gives you a rough idea of what, where this actually comes from. But again, them giving Anton LaVey credit for the inverted pentagram, I respect that greatly. The next symbol is called the Black Sun pentagram, which is this down here. Now, the Black Sun pentagram above is a variant of gatekeepers created called the Black Sun pentagram. The black sun, the black circle in the center symbolizes the black sun, which is a very potent symbol in its own right that represents the most alien, impersonal, and destructive aspects of the devil force. The next one is the Lord of the World pentagram. Yeah, this one is the Lord of the World pentagram. And it reads, the pentagram below has characteristics in a secret alphabet of the gatekeepers called Hazard. Around the perimeter, invoking the name of the Lord of this world, this symbol was used in the gatekeeper's inner sanctum to summon the devil himself. Now the next one is my favorite. It's called the Trihexydian. This here is probably one of the main symbols, or the main signs that you would see members wear, and the members that are part of the Temple of Satan. You would see this a lot, either branded on them or tattooed on them in some way. So if you are somebody who are in public, and again, if you are have an interest in the Temple of Satan, if you see the Trihexydian, then you know that you are near someone who has access to the temple. It may be actually hard to see it. They may have that covered up. It may be tattooed or branded in an area where you can't see. But either way, if you were to see that on someone and you were interested, you can go from there. The next one is the nonogram. Here is the nonogram, another symbol the gatekeepers came up with. The nonogram above is a symbol of black magical power used in rituals by the temple sorcerers and priests. The 9 points evoke the power of Satan's number, 9, and symbolize the 9 gates all Templars must pass through on their infernal path to meet the Master. The second one is called the Bloodbat. The Bloodbat symbol was used by the vampire sect of the Satanic Templars to decorate their coffins, tombs, daggers, jewelry, and temples. So this is called the Bloodbat, and if you were a member, if you were associate of the Temple of Satan, this would be something that you would see decorated on a lot of things, sacrificial knives, clothing, furniture, etc. And the last symbol is called the 9th key, which also has the trihexydian with the key. So I'm not gonna say it's a key. It's a trihexydian with the devil's trident. So you have the trident and the trihexydian combined together, which they call the devil's key. This is the symbol of the 9th key, which the gatekeepers will unlock the 9th gate to Satan's kingdom to all Templars who complete their training. The 3 sixes symbolize the attainment of the Antichrist consciousness, a prerequisite for entering Satan's kingdom as one of the chosen and damned of the devil. Next, I'm going to talk about, briefly, go over their ideology of black magic. Satanic Templars shall make black magic a focus of our activities at our black houses, lodges, and schools. For black magic is the means by which we shall manifest our wills and the will of our Lord Satan. We shall summon demons to assist us, curse and conquer our enemies, seduce others into our cult, and commune with the devil himself. By the power of our collective satanic magic, the entire spirit of the age will be changed. Enemy gods will be disposed of, and our master will be placed upon his throne as the unchallenged lord of this world. The temple will publish specialized manuals in the theory and practice of our satanic black magic for distribution to our lodges. Here, we give you an introduction to our black magical philosophy and a few practices that you may find useful and inspiring. Now, I'm not going to go over everything. I'm not going to discuss everything in this video. I am going to make another one dedicated to the Temple of Satan. So, if you do want to get this book, it is available to the public, but be warned, they keep record of everyone who makes a purchase of this for their own personal reasons. Once you buy it, they know who you are and they know where you live. It's very hard to get this from a third party or like an independent seller. The main source of this book and this knowledge is from the Temple of Satan itself. So again, I would be very sincere and genuine if you're someone who has an interest in joining this particular group. The next, we're going to talk about symbolic warfare. As satanic unholy warriors, we employ black magic not just for our personal empowerment, enrichment, and pleasure, but to attack the devil's enemies and to prepare the world for the coming of our Imperium Satanicum. We use war magic to target the minds, ideas, beliefs, and systems of our enemies on the plane of thought. Using power symbols and rituals of destruction, below is an example of our symbolic war sorcery in action. Perform it individually or with an entire black lodge or coven for much more power. Acquire the book that best symbolizes the enemies of Satan in your mind. Perhaps this will be the Bible of Christians, the Torah of Jews, or the Quran of Muslims. Or it can be a Hindu or Buddhist holy book, or even a work of secular thought such as the Communist Manifesto or the United States Constitution. Dress yourself in your best warrior attire. This could mean wearing a sword, firearm, club, armor, battle mask, war paint, or what have you. You should have at least one cutting or striking weapon, such as a sword, knife, or club. Now go to your temple and place the book on the altar. Raise your weapon toward the devil idol on your shrine and say words like this: "In the devil's name I strike down this enemy of Satan. I smite this book to spite the God who made it. May this be the fate of all enemies of the devil. Death to the Jews, Christians, Muslims, etc. Ave Diabolus." Now stab, slash, or beat the book until it is destroyed, then light it on fire, chanting Ave Diabolus and grazing into the flames as the book burns to ash. That's pretty blunt, cut and dry. Next, I'm going to be discussing the evil eye. Now, the evil eye, every satanic Templar should become adept at the evil eye. The evil gaze that curses, intimidates, fascinates, sees through illusions, and puts fear of the devil into others. To become adept at this black art, you must practice gazing intensely at inanimate objects, animals, and people. Develop your gazing power by staring at a candle or other objects for as long as you can. A black adept should be able to maintain his gaze for hours on end. Next, try your gaze on animals such as cats, dogs, or birds, and see if you can make a psychic connection. Can you make an animal do your will just by the power of your gaze and focused intent? If you stare at a dog and mentally command it to lay down, does it comply? Now gaze at people in the public, first by staring from the back and seeing if you can make them turn around, trip, or take some other action. Finally, gaze at people directly in their eyes and see how they react. Is there anyone you can't stare down? Can you make them obey mental commands? Seduce them or curse them just by the power of your gaze and focused thoughts? Practice your evil eye with other members of your coven by holding staring contests, or simply by randomly trying to dominate them with your gaze. It's critical for this practice that you not only have a strong gaze and willpower, but an evil spirit. You are projecting your diabolical energy, your V Diaboli, directly into another person's mind via their eyes. Use the trident mudra and breathe in the breath of fire to prepare. Visualize satanic power symbols on the target and say an invocation to the devil during the evil eye gaze for maximum effect. Next, I'm going to be discussing the diabolical way. Members of our satanic brotherhood call our way of life the diabolical way. Diabolica via, for it is the path of manifesting the diabolical will and embodying the diabolical spirit in everything we do in life. Beginning with a morning prayer to Satan, continuing with your daily business of seeking wealth, knowledge, pleasure, and power, including the food you eat, your sexuality and yoga practice, to attending gatherings with other people of the pact. The diabolical way is a path of total self-transformation and purpose. Our way is in fact a road which leads ultimately through the 9 infernal gates into the presence of our Lord Satan. Now, they have 6 pillars. The diabolical way has 6 pillars. And the first pillar is the infernal pact. Pledge your allegiance to the devil in return for power, pleasure, wealth, fertility, and knowledge. The second pillar is daily rituals. Conduct daily invocations, offerings, and exercises in honor of our Lord Satan. The third pillar, wanderings. Roam the earth, seeking other disciples and experiencing the realities of our Lord Satan's world. The fourth are gatherings. Attend gatherings on important dates of a satanic calendar for group rites and revelry. The fifth pillar is tribute. Make regular tributes to the temple in form of wealth, work, or favors. And the sixth pillar is the 9 gates. Pursue the 9 gates of satanic initiation to the best of your abilities. Next, I'm going to be talking about the diabolical languages. What language should Satanists use to communicate with Lord Satan or with each other? First, realize that Satan is an enemy of all human languages because they have been corrupted by the Yahwehites or are by nature limited. The deepest infernal truths cannot be expressed in any human tongue. Nevertheless, there are a few languages that archon favor over others for their diabolical qualities. The first one being Latin. That's pretty self-explanatory. A lot of you are familiar with Latin. I see a lot of Satanists when it comes to satanic thought and satanic rituals, they automatically use Latin as a language to express their satanic faith. So I'm not going to go too deep into that, but Latin is the first one. The second one is reverse speech. Reverse speech is simply talking and writing backwards. Pretty self-explanatory. So if you have a coven or a pact, if you speak English and do not know Latin, then learn how to speak to one another in reverse speech. If you have to write someone, write it backwards. Speak backwards. Again, Satan is an enemy of all human tongues because the majority of our languages has been corrupted by the Yahwehites and lead back to Abrahamic religions or religions of God or some sort. So again, the devil is against human languages because of the Yahwehites and other religions. The Black Tongue. The Black Tongue, also known as Pragal, is a language invented by the gatekeeper to serve as a secret tongue of the gatekeepers and their disciples. Inspired by others, Black speech Pragal is a simplified Germanic language that has a pleasing sinister sound to it. It also has a written script called Herzog. Temple initiates who aspire to the highest rank will need to learn Pragal to be a part of the innermost councils of the order. More information about Pragal will be made available to initiates when they are ready for it. So once again, this book is available to the public. This is something that the public can get, but it's already letting you know there is information and that there's learnings and teachings that will be presented to you once you are a member. They can only say so much in this because anybody can get it. And, they don't want people to hold stuff against them due to their religious beliefs. So if you are interested and if you actually become a member, there will be much more knowledge to obtain once you're on the inside. I'm going to go over a few Latin phrases that a lot of you probably are familiar with. Ave Satanas, which means Hail Satan. Dios es morto, Satanas vivit. God is dead, Satan lives. Diabolo et imperia, for the devil and the empire. Diabolus vult, the devil wills it. Diabolus odium est, the devil is hate. Dominius mundi, Lord of the world. Filii diaboli, son of the devil. Gloria infimium diabolo, glory to the devil in the lowest. Potentia Satana, the power of Satan. Satanus gratias, thanks to be Satan. V diaboli, devil force. V diaboli, universum vivis vici, by the power of the devil, I will, the living, have conquered the universe. Next, I'm going to go over a popular hand sign that are used amongst members of the Temple of Satan, and that is this here. 3 fingers up like this. Ultimately, you would hold it down, and you would create a circle with these 2 fingers, but you would hold it down. So if you are a member and you are seeking, you want to know if someone else is a member, you come across someone else who's not part of your pact or coven, and you want to know if they're a member, they don't have any tattoos that are visible or anything that's actually visible, try doing this, and if they pick up on it, you know that they are a member of the Temple of Satan. A few diabolical behaviors. Members of our satanic race will often exhibit unusual and demonic behaviors, demonstrating that they are a breed apart from the mundane humans, capable of the inhumane, disturbing things. Such as examples of these diabolical behaviors include obscene and blasphemous speech, frightening and horrific facial expressions, unnatural contortions of the body, making sounds and movements like an animal, violent fits and spasms, lewd acts of exposure and sexuality, acts of extreme strength, agility, or sexuality, ability to command or frighten animals. Now, such behaviors are classic signs of demonic possession, which is in fact what real Satanism is. So if you display any of these diabolical behaviors or you grow accustomed to it, a lot of people will say that it is a sign of demonic possession. But again, that's what real Satanism is all about. All right, next I'm going to be talking about one that a lot of you like to deny. You like to live in denial about this subject, and that's human sacrifice. There are a lot of satanic groups that does not partake in human sacrifice, but the Temple of Satan, I'm not saying that they do, but it is something that they speak about. Satanic Templars take their V or vital energy from the most powerful sources available. And there is no more potent source of V than other human beings. There are many ways to take V from another person, such as psychic vampirism and sexual intercourse. The most extreme method is human sacrifice. Human sacrifice is one of the oldest, most powerful forms of ritual activity known to man, which has been practiced from time immemorial by peoples throughout this world. To take life in a ritualized, sacred context is to wield God-like power over life and death. Killing for a greater cause is a universal reality of human societies and a requirement for the maintenance of the social order. Now, I'm not going to go any further into it, but you get an idea. You get an idea that human sacrifice is something that a lot of satanic groups partake in. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying anything else about it. I myself has never been involved in a human sacrifice ritual. I just hold the knowledge of how to do it and how to go about it. Now, I'm going to end it with The Literature to Satan by Aleister Crowley. A lot of you are familiar with Aleister Crowley. I adore the king of evil by the body thou hast fashioned, in the likeness of a devil. By its purity and passion, I adore the king of evil. I adore the lord of malice by the soul that thou hast molded, lovely as a lily chalice, to the sombre sun unfolded. I adore thee, Lord of malice, by its first, the cruel craving for things infinite, unheard of, dreams devouring and depraving, songs no God may guess a word of, songs of crime and songs of craving. By the dreary eyes of the devil, bleak and sterile as they glitter, I adore thee, King of evil. With these lips as dry and bitter as the dreary eyes of the devil, I adore thee, I invoke thee, I abase myself before thee, by the spells that once awoke thee. Lust of chaos, I adore thee, I adore thee, I invoke thee. Now, before I end it, again, if you are somebody who is interested in becoming a member of the Temple of Satan, the first step is buying this book. That sorta grants you an audience with the temple, because again, once you buy this book, they automatically keep a record of who you are forever. Now, again, if you are not sincere about it, you're putting yourself in grave danger. Not only you're putting yourself in grave danger, you're putting those you love in grave danger. This is not something that you should be curious about if you're not willing to take that step forward. As they say, curiosity killed the cat, and in this case, it will happen. I'm not wishing bad upon anyone. I'm just giving you a warning in advance. So I spoke of a few initiation processes and a few initiation rites. I didn't cover everything, but again, buying this book is the first step. Now, I myself am not going to give this information, but once you buy this book, it goes into great detail on how to become a member. You would have to write the Temple of Satan. Their address is inside this book. So you will start off by writing them and expressing your satanic path and your interest into black magic. You're not guaranteed to get a response, but if you continue to write them and continue to seek them out, you will be heard. You can start your own coven or your own lodge or black mastery school, sorcery school. You can start that yourself. It tells you how to do that, but you will have to have the permission of the Templar Knights to actually be recognized as the Temple of Satan. So you don't actually have to go to the Temple of Satan yourself. You may eventually have to if that's something that's required, but having this book and learning it and practicing it, you should be able to start your own practice right here in your very own city, wherever you are, with the permission, of course, of the Temple of Satan. But if you are just an individual who just wants to join them, you're not looking into starting a coven or a cult, what you can do is just continue writing them every week. You can send them a letter every week just expressing who you are and just telling them, what you're about. Again, I would be very sincere with what you say and what you do, and I would not take this as a joke, because if you seek them out and you go that extra step to actually speak to some of these people and they find, how you carrying yourself, they find what you're doing as disrespect to their path, you just put yourself in grave danger. Now myself, I write them once a week. I've been writing them for at least 3 months now. I am not a member of the Temple of Satan. I am, however, a member of the Satanic Temple. With that being said, this is my next step. The Satanic Temple is pretty easy, and it's kind of like child's play. The group itself isn't sincere. They're a non-theistic group. I will be discussing that in another video. But my next step is the actual Temple of Satan. And, hopefully I actually become a member one day. If I do become a member, I'm going to go silent and, not do YouTube or Facebook or any type of social media. I'm going to leave that alone completely, because Again, this is not something that we're doing or they are doing for show. Once you become a member, you are not allowed to speak of the temple's activities. You're not allowed to talk about what they do outside of the temple. You will be killed. With that being said, I'm going to end it. And as always, believe in yourself, believe in your craft, hail thyself, hail Satan.